Who needs a little pep in their step? Which team could do with the genius that is Pep Guardiola? He got it. I heard the little laugh in the background. I heard it. So Pep Guardiola has announced that at the end of the season, this is a little strange for me, but at the end of the season, he's going to be leaving Bayern Munich, and Carlo Ancelotti already lined up to take his place. Now, if I was a Bayern Munich player and I seen that my very inspirational, informative, tactically wise coach just decided to tell me that he was going to leave at the end of the season, how do you think that would affect you as a player for this point? Would it make you want to leave on a high note, or would it affect you mentally?
If you're one of the players, if you're some of the players, like if you're like a Lewandowski, right? Like, Pep, take me with you. I don't care. I like playing for you. Obviously, you have shown me great success and turned me into the footballer that I can play today, right? Go with him. The other side of it is if you're not one of those guys who might be going along with him, because I'm sure wherever he goes, he's going to make a push to get some of these Bayern players. Yeah. Maybe it's one of two. Either you're going to play your hearts out so you can give him a good farewell, or you're going to say, fuck this guy, I'm going to sit on the side of the bench here and not play anymore.
And I know many people will be like, they're all professionals who just have to stick to their job. You look at how much attachment there is to a player to a manager. I remember after Jose Mourinho won the Champions League final with Inter Milan, the players kind of knew he was going, but they all strived to push for him. And at the end of the game, Materazzi and Jose Mourinho were seen sobbing before they got on the bus because he was devastated that Jose Mourinho was leaving after winning the Champions League. So it does have such a mental effect on players when they become attached to a manager. And Pep Guardiola is a manager like that. I see him bringing out the best in someone like Douglas Costa, who's came in. I see him helping players like Lewandowski achieve their greatness, because he does, at the start of the season, he didn't always play Lewandowski as a starter. He brought him off the bench in that famous game where he scored 5 goals. That's a good managerial decision to push a player to try and push themselves outside their boundaries. Now, the topic of the conversation, though, Jason, is with the soap opera that's going on in the Premier League. What team do you think, on paper at the moment, would need Pep Guardiola at the end of the season?
I don't necessarily think they need them, but I think they would dominate the next year or two of both Premier League and Champions League would be Manchester City, because they have the most to add. Like, they have De Bruyne, they have Aguero, they have Silva, they have a force that has unlocked potential in a way similar to what Bayern Munich has. And one of the things that I found interesting in the readings was, and I know I mentioned Toni Kroos before, but he claims that Guardiola was the best manager he's ever played for, and Kroos has played under Ancelotti and Klinsmann and Van Gaal. He's seen his notable like of managers, but he said in specifics, it's the way that he finds solutions to problems during a game. And while Manchester City doesn't necessarily have the consistency that we'd like to see a team with that much star power have, if Guardiola comes in with his Terminator-like tactics, why Terminator, Francis?
Why?
Because the Terminator adapts.
Oh, he does. Is that not a Transformer?
Well, that too. Terminator is much cooler and much more Schwarzenegger.
And much more successful films.
So if he comes in, I think it's terrifying. I think it's a great, hopefully consistent. I don't know if I'm saying hopefully. I don't know if I really want Manchester City to succeed so much, but it would be great. Granted, the other side I'm sure you could talk about too, there's other teams that would like his talent, his skill set.
And I think that, for me, which team needs him to come in the most? With Chelsea, I think, because they're going through this transition
Newcastle?
period. Newcastle could do with him as well, I'm sure. But Gus Hiddink, we're going to see what his reign is. We know that when Roman Abramovich gets, say that again, Francis, Jesus Christ. When Roman Abramovich,
it came out all right.
I think my mouth didn't open at one point. Roman Abramovich. Even when Roberto Di Matteo delivered them the Champions League final as an interim coach.
Not enough.
No, not enough.
No.
I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. And Roman Abramovich has his own perspective on what he values in a manager. And I think Pep Guardiola, he looks at the names. He's like one of those guys that he knows football, but if he sees like just a name on a list rather than someone who's performing well, like Douglas Costa, why would I take him when I could go over there and get Pedro? He's been playing with Barcelona for all this time. Like, he's the type of guy that would go with a name on that. And I think that he would like the name of Pep Guardiola in his team. And
I think he'd like the results of Pep Guardiola in his team.
Tactically, it'd be interesting to see how Pep Guardiola would change it, because Chelsea have kind of been a predominantly defensive team under Jose Mourinho, and in the past, that small field at Stamford Bridge, I don't think would allow for the open play that Pep Guardiola likes to try and install in teams like Barcelona and Bayern Munich. That's why Man City, I think, for Pep, would be the best possible move. Again, there's the other side of Manchester. That's why this is so interesting. We need to see what's going to go on with Manchester United. We might put this clip up tomorrow.
Do you think he's going for money? Because if that's the case, then if it's not money, then why would he go against anything? Why would he go anywhere except Manchester City? And especially if he can bring somebody with him. Just the what-if game. Favorite game to ever play. What if, Francis? What if he goes to Manchester City? What if he takes along with him a Lewandowski or a Douglas Costa or
Thomas
Mueller to add to the already ridiculous arsenal of forwards that City has?
Yeah,
they would dominate the Premier League. They'd also have a really good chance at the Champions League, and I think that's what Pep Guardiola has his sights on, because he's getting closer and closer every single year, especially with Bayern, possibly this year.
Yeah.
Not counting my chickens before they hatch.
But and I do agree with what you're saying. It's not money, because we've seen Pep Guardiola roll a team which is vastly considered the best club team ever, Barcelona, under his reign. Won Champions League after Champions Leagues and just La Liga trophies, and they were so phenomenally dominant that he's got an unbelievable resume. And it's not like he's like, I don't know if I'm making enough here at Bayern. I might need to go make some more money at Man City. No, I appreciate him as a manager because he's driven and he doesn't like to settle, and he gets bored easy. I think he's getting bored of winning Bundesliga after Bundesliga. And yes, Dortmund are going to make a better run this year and other teams, and they're going to have their work cut out from in the Champions League. But the Premier League, there's something appealing about it for him. I think he wants to be that manager, similar to like Mourinho has done, go to different levels and showcase your talent all over the world.
Well, if you want to create a legacy, start dominating every single league in world football, and you have a shot at cracking and being the greatest manager of all time. I mean, granted, he needs to add some trophies to the cabinet. Obviously, he's going to add a Bundesliga title this year. After they were about 8 points ahead on Borussia Dortmund. It would be very surprising if they can make a big comeback on that one.
But I think that we both agree that Manchester City, for him and his playing style and his aspirations as a coach, would be a perfect fit. But other clubs, they might just all have a massive fight to the death to see who will take Pep Guardiola home for the summer, I would say, or moving into the next season.
He's staying through this season.
So we want to know what you guys think. Let us know which team needs Pep Guardiola the most in the Premier League, because that's where, imagine if he just like completely just trolled us and just went, I'm going to PSG. See you later.
I'm going to go coach the United States of America.
Oh, that would be a great thing to see. That would be a great thing to see. All right, let us know what you guys think. Make sure to say Roman Abramovich as many times as you possibly can, and come back to TYT Sports and subscribe.